as expected, another very, very tough encounter against a team that are in really good form, confident from their Champions League qualification on Tuesday. And I think you can see that in the way that they played. Started off the game brightly. We looked certainly like the group that were going to take the lead and did. And unfortunately, we couldn't reinforce that. There was some difficulties in maintaining that momentum and staying on the front foot. And they slowly but surely got themselves into the game. The equalising goal is one that we'll look back on, and I think, for the most part, be very, very disappointed about. Poor free kick to give away, and an even more disappointing end result as the ball works into the box. So, a hard-fought point and a disappointing one that we haven't turned it into 3.
We'll open the floor for questions. Drake.
And Gary, this is the team that, in terms of conceding late goals at home, hasn't really been a part of that. I mean, we've seen results where it hasn't necessarily gone your way recently, Portland being one of them. Mm-hmm. How do you go about that in terms of that situation, having led for most parts of the game, albeit, as you said, Vancouver slowly and surely kind of adding more pressure in the second half?
Yeah, look, I think there's going to be, the emotion right now is going to be real disappointment that we haven't seen the game out. There's no doubt about it. But I think if you look at the bigger picture, there were some terrific displays in our group, most notably Shaq for an hour, absolutely fantastic. I thought Joe played ever so well tonight, when before there might have been a little bit of criticism. I think he's rounded back into form again. Teal back-to-back goals. So there are some positives out of tonight for sure. But to your point, when you're only 1 goal to the good, and you've not really forced that advantage home, if you like, before they scored, let's be honest, we weren't enough of a goal threat. They had found their way back into the game and looked in a more comfortable position and were committing bodies. And, we have to work through this at a stadium that we haven't yet found our full flow. That is a fact. Is that certain individuals that are dealing with the atmosphere, the stadium, maybe, is that confidence in the group to see games out and to keep clean sheets again, which have not been easy to come by this year. Have we remained competitive? 100%. Have we remained a team that are going to be in games and are fighting for the postseason? Absolutely. But there were some things tonight that I think led to Vancouver feeling far more confident they might actually get that equaliser.
Yeah, from about maybe the midway point of the second half, it seemed like they had really kind of tilted the field on you guys. What do you guys need to do to prevent that from happening, especially at your home ground?
Yeah, I honestly, it's that confidence and that belief in possession, to break lines, to maintain a high level of quality. It's okay finding 1 or 2 passes and then someone giving the ball away cheaply or unnecessarily. It keeps the opponent inspired that there's something there for them. And there were some really nice moments in the game for us, but maintaining that consistency and that overall quality throughout the game is a challenge for every team. And when a team's behind, they take more chances, and they were rewarded for that in the end. We've got to find that ruthless streak again. That's what being at home's all about. We've just slightly shifted away from being that team that were very, very difficult to play against at home. And we've got to find that again, that groove.
Claudio.
Gary, what is your take about the fact that even after the Whitecaps start pushing hard and everything, and they actually score the goal, then Nashville kind of takes over again at the very end of the game when you say, well, the team must be tired, all of them, the both teams.
Yeah.
But then in the last 3 minutes, Nashville was like overwhelming again. What do you think about that?
I think it's a natural reaction, Claudio, that momentum starts to shift. They start to commit more players. They throw caution to the wind. How many times do you see it in games that a team that's in front, suddenly under pressure, they're more interested in securing that victory. And let's be brutally honest, it's far more difficult to score a goal than it is to deny a goal. And at that point, I thought we were struggling to actually get a grip of their shape and some real foothold or footings in the game, which is why I went back to a back three to try and match a few players up around the field. I don't think it made a huge difference. It slowed down the fast actions and the opportunities that Vancouver looked like they were conjuring. But then you're reliant on real concise, reliable defending. And you can't give away such cheap free kicks and an opportunity to work it into a dangerous area, especially that late in the game. But to your point, the table's turned. They've found their goal. Maybe the energy and the overall commitment to getting back in the game now, leaves them in a position a little bit like a fighter who's tried to knock someone out and the guy don't go down and now you're vulnerable. And they were. So I think the only thing we can take away from that is that, there were certainly moments we could have and should have taken more advantage of before then, when it became almost panic stations to win the game. There were some situations that even late on we could have snatched it. I'm still not convinced that the foul on Walker is not a penalty. There's contact there. I think if he stays down, he forces the referee's hand, but I'm sure that's not a world that we want to be in, and I know that referees have been told that if there is contact, then there should be a foul given, even though he gets up. We of course would rather have a penalty than going across the box.
After, especially towards the end of the first half, and then going into the second half, do you feel that there were opportunities to push forward more to get a second goal? If not, what was about their shape? What was about?
So what are the keys to what you're saying? You're saying, were there opportunities to go and be more aggressive? What are the keys to that? What do you need players to do?
Push forward.
You need more than that, because we can all push forward and leave gaps. You need players to be brave in possession. You need them to have a certain amount of technical ability and craft to avoid challenges, maybe run by people, to pick good choices and decisions to link. And it was far too erratic. Therefore, possession, creation, and overall, pressure on the opposing group dissipates. It's released, and they're on the attack again. So, as I've said in answer to one of the other questions, it's about consistency. We have produced some really nice moments. We have put ourselves in a good position again. But you've got to back that up with a consistent level of performance, with and without the ball. And when it doesn't reach a standard, you allow the other team to get back into the game. And full well, there's no easy game in MLS. No easy game. So if you don't take advantage of being in front and advantage of the confidence you should have of the way we started, you allow the other team to get a bit of a stranglehold.
Team Sullivan with the final question.
Hey, Gary, you just kind of went into some of the things that were issues on this evening, and it seems like some of those have been thematic problems through some of the disappointing results recently. How do you change that? Is there something that you can do to get this team playing the way that you expect them to?
Yeah, look, it would be easy to sit here and have my chin on my chest and be completely distraught about conceding in the last 5 minutes. You know that's not going to be the case. This group have achieved an awful lot in a short space of time. We have a lot of quality. We're fighting, I think, for that confidence, that belief that we can really deal with the three facets of the game that are vitally important. They are: start well and be the aggressor. Manage those central periods of the game well. If need be, build momentum and put yourself in a good position. And if you're in front, make sure that those final stages are reliable and are professional and you see the game out. And that's difficult for teams to do that week in, week out, but the ones that do it are going to be the ones at the top end of the table. So we're constantly fighting for that. We've seen it before. We know what those qualities are. It's about being able to, to really revert back to type and look back at some of the very exciting and bright and purposeful periods that we've had as a group. At the moment, we're falling foul of, a fortunate goal last week that bounces over the back four and we lose the game and we draw the game. Today, final moments, no penalty. Should score. Luke should score. Hanny might be able to score. Eric should be able to score. Somebody falls it over the line. And it wouldn't have been a vintage display by any way, shape or form. I think you're coming away from the game then in a slightly different mindset. There is so much to fight for here. We've got so many games that we can look forward to, but they're not going to be easy. Nobody's going to give us points. But we've got to make sure that we don't give any to anyone else. And it will be a real challenge in this Western Conference, given what we've got to deal with, to be above that line. In fact, I go as far to say that if we're above the line at the end of this season, it will be the biggest achievement of this group since I've been here, for sure.
Teal, tell us about your thoughts on how the goal developed.
Yeah, I think the first little bit of the game, we were putting them under a lot of pressure, getting corner kicks, being active and alert. Kind of won the ball after a sequence. Hani was able to get on the ball. Looked up early. We had a few guys in the box. I just wanted to create some space and make sure I just had my header on goal.
Shaq, your debut at Geodis Park, how did it feel to play in front of the fans tonight?
Yeah, it felt good, playing in front of the fans. The energy in the building was terrific. I felt the love, and I think it was a good team performance. I think we could have closed the game out, but that's football sometimes, and now we're just thinking about the next game.
Thank you, Shaq. We'll open the floor for questions. Ray Heels with Tennessee.
Yeah, first question for you, Shaq. In terms of actually being out there finally, getting the flow of the game, how did you feel in terms of what you like to do on the field, your personality? How did you feel that matched in terms of how this game panned out for you?
Yeah, I felt good, especially in the beginning of the game, first 20, 30 minutes. I think, the game was flowing, a lot through my side. And obviously, the game kind of changes after a while. They make adjustments and, they put us under pressure as well. But yeah, I think overall it was a good, first performance. I could do better as always, but I think it was a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, Teal, we discussed your goal a little bit, but it seemed like you had an active role, kind of going both ways, defensively and in attack. What does your team need to do to make that be kind of a 90-minute effort that kind of pays off in the end?
I think a majority of the game, guys played well. You can't lack anybody's effort tonight. Everybody was working for each other, communicating, trying to be on the front foot. There's just times that I think this season in particular, we're having little mental lapses, particularly on set pieces. So we just have to pay a little bit more attention during those times, last 5 minutes of games, last 10 minutes of games, especially being up a goal. I think maybe we could, once we get a lead, I think we could put the other team, continue to put the team under pressure a little bit more, and we got to try to start having that killer instinct and trying to get a second goal to really put the game out of reach. But yeah, I think, it's coming down to the nitty-gritty of the season, and it's going to take everybody being prepared, being ready, and making sure we're locked in. We need to start getting points, especially at home, and I think we have the guys to do that.
Fabio Villalobos.
Teal, besides the fact that obviously you and the fans enjoyed you scoring a couple goals in the last two games, what is the part of the game, your game, that you brought especially the last two games that you feel more comfortable with?
You know, I was out for like 15, 16 weeks, coming to a new team and trying to adjust to the style of play here. You know, it takes a little bit of time, and kind of being out, I think, hinders that. I think it's just kind of being locked in, having teammates that, are pumping me up, and I'm trying to pump them up. And, I've been around the league for a while, so I kind of know what's expected of me. And I think, just building that confidence and trying to stay in form and making sure I'm doing whatever it takes to help the team win. That's my ultimate goal. It's not necessarily just scoring goals and assists or whatever it might be. I think it's working hard and just trying to do whatever it takes to win games.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's it. Ready for the
I can get one more for Shaq, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Shaq, obviously when you came in, you talked about your excitement to play for this team, to play in front of these fans. How did it live up to expectations? What did you kind of see? And then, kind of after the opportunity to see a couple games, including playing in one, what is kind of changed for you, or have your expectations kind of shifted at all?
I think it was better than I expected, to be honest. I think, you see games on the TV, but you don't really
Mm-hmm.
know, how it's going to be until you actually experience it. So I think experiencing it for the first time today was great. A lot of the guys that helped me through the game, so I got to give credit to the team as well. It would have been nice to finish it off with a victory, but like I said, that's football sometimes. I think we just need to, correct the things that we didn't do well and think about the next game.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate you taking the time. We'll